After doing this 3 or 4 times, I actually got pretty efficient at sand leveling. Now, when you talk about sand leveling, it's generally understood that you're using sand to level out the turf. Usually, you would use 100% pure sand, or you use 70 to 80% sand and maybe 20 to 30% compost. When you're talking about top dressing is a little bit different. Your main goal when you're top dressing is using compost, and you're doing that mainly to feed the soil or to transform your soil over time. That in turn is going to really make the grass pop. So sand leveling is for leveling out the turf. Top dressing is for feeding the soil and the grass. In this video, you're going to see me shoot a few clips, and I'm kind of going to describe to you what's going on and what to expect and what to look out for. Now, first things first, you're going to need a good shovel, all right? It's going to be really hard to move this sand around if you don't have a shovel to actually pick it up with. You're also going to need a rake, preferably one with a back flat side to it. You're also going to need a wheelbarrow or some type of cart to move the sand around with. Nothing will make your life more easier than a dedicated leveling rake. This rake I got off Amazon a few years ago, but you can find them all over the place. Just do some research, typing leveling rake. Trust me on this, it's going to make the job go so much faster. This part of the yard you're seeing right now, I actually dug up and expanded the underground drain I had going on. So this part of the turf is going to take a little bit longer to recover, but I'm still going to sand level this area in the hopes of smoothing it out. Now, the first thing you want to do is bring your mower down to its lowest setting and just cut the grass. Give it a good cut on the lowest possible setting. Keeping the height of cut at the lowest possible setting is just going to make it easier for the sand to work down. So whether you're sand leveling using sand or whether you're top dressing using any type of compost, bringing your height of cut down is just going to make it much more easier to work with. Now, on the day of delivery, although it's not required, if you put a tarp down, it's going to just help contain that sand to one localized area. This is assuming you're going to have a truck coming to deliver it in your driveway. I found putting the tarp down just really keeps everything nice and clean moving forward. The type of sand I had delivered is actually called top dress sand, and its main purpose is to level out the turf. It has the USGA spec in which the particle size is so fine it's not going to pack down on you. There is no easy way around this. You're gonna have to find a way to haul the sand to different parts of your yard. I found it's much more easier to just work on sections at a time or work on half the yard first. You want to put the sand down in piles, and then once that's done, you want to start to work it in. Now, this is no easy feat, especially if you're out of shape. But as with anything strenuous, you want to make sure you take your time and just drink plenty of fluids. I find it's best to really do this at the coolest part of the day. In case you're wondering, I have 5,000 square foot of yard space to cover, and I ordered 6 yards of sand. I was a little short. I probably should have ordered 8 yards. Once you have everything down, the next step is to work it in. I found it's easier to use a regular rake to break the piles up and then use the leveling rake to work it in. This is where the leveling rake will shine. You want to use the rake to just work it in and just keep working it in. You want to just keep going at it. Your main goal is to try to get total coverage, but just allow a little bit of grass blades to actually stick up. But because this is Bermuda is just so resilient, you can pretty much cover it completely with sand and Bermuda will eventually pop through. Just don't forget to work the corners. Once everything is worked in, or at least worked in the best that I can possibly make it, the next step in the process is to fertilize. This is where you want to start your fertilization, get it down, and this is only going to encourage faster growth. The fertilizer of choice I'm using is the usual, which is PGF Complete. I've had good results with it. I'm not endorsing it, I'm just saying this is what I'm using. But at the end of the day, you can pretty much use whatever type of fertilizer you want, whether you want to get the cheap kind or more expensive kind. It's really dependent on you and what you can afford. Just don't get locked into a particular type of fertilizer without really trying the others in the market. There's a few good fertilizers in the market, so just try them out and see what works best for you. Here is an overhead view once the sand was laid out and worked in. You can see I pretty much covered the entire yard with sand. It is completely covered. So at the end of the day, you just really want to trust the process and trust that it's going to work out to be fine. The Bermuda will recover, even though it doesn't look like it right now, but it will recover. The next thing you want to do is start the watering process. You want to start to water it in, and this watering will actually push the sand down into the soil. You're going to have to come out and water every day in order for this to work. Just keep watering, don't stop. If you have Mother Nature water for you, that will be good, but just make sure you're not dealing with any type of torrential downpour. You want to do light waterings as opposed to one heavy watering. Here is the day 14 progress. Now we've had weather that wasn't too hot. Remember, Bermuda likes it hot. Daytime temperatures 80-90 degrees, and nighttime temperatures, that's the key. Nighttime temperatures have to be consistently above 60 for it to grow and break through, but trust the process. It will break through and it will grow. Just gotta be a little patient.